On January 5th, 2016, and as revised on July 12th, 2016, and September 27th, 2016, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2016, which has been posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk's faxed to the Hour Town, the Record, and the community news newspapers, and distributed to all persons of any requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They're immediately to my right, the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
Everyone please join me to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Flipperett.
Here.
Council members Padano.
Here.
Trevino.
Here.
DeHere.
Here.
Messer.
Present.
Maroney.
Here.
Lindenau.
Here.
Borough Attorney Ronald Dario is
Here.
Borough Administrator Roberta Stern is absent. Borough Clerk Jean Pelligra is present.
All right. Mr. Pliniak. Sure.
Honorable Mayor and Council, we issued an engineer's report dated the 7th of this month for tonight's meeting. The first item on the list is the Economic Recovery Program project. As I discussed last month, the DEP was reviewing our proposal on the standard language that's required as part of the EIT program grant project. Our office followed shortly thereafter by submitting a proposal for construction management services on December 8th for review and consideration by the governing body. Once the governing body approved the proposal or chose to approve the proposal, we would forward it to DEP for final review. And then we would contact the borough attorney and his office and Mr. Ironman to schedule a site inspection meeting with the two property owners to begin discussing bid date times and dates as it relates to the construction schedule. Thereafter, documents would be submitted which would be agreed upon by EIT with respect to the particular dates, and the project could be bid shortly thereafter. Based on that time frame, we would expect the bidding to occur in around March or April, with construction occurring in late spring of this upcoming year. The next item on the list is the Maywood Avenue Streetscape DOT project. We've reviewed the lights with respect to PSE&G, in particular Mr. Buck. He had mentioned that pending weather conditions that those lights will be turned on this upcoming week within the streetscape. In addition, there was a question that was posed as it related to a small section of hardscape at the southeastern corner of Central and Maywood Avenue. The contractor is aware of that location, and we've been told that this week that work will also occur to eliminate that small grass area that's within the streetscape. The next item on the list is the Jersey Avenue Parkway DOT 2015 Road Improvement Program. That project's been completed months ago, but as I mentioned last month, there was the DOT shutdown, which shut down the final inspection of the project. We contacted DOT December 1st because we hadn't received any correspondence back as it related to the inspection. DOT informed us that their inspections were backlogged, but they expect to issue a report by the end of the month so that we could file the final documents, that the borough could receive its final 25% of that grant funding related to the project. The next item on the list is the ADA Community Development Block Ramp Project. The contractor needed to address a couple punch list items, two of which are completed in its entirety, which was Belgian block curbing at the along Woodland Avenue at the base of the roadway, And then at Woodland in Jersey, a ramp needed to be replaced in accordance with our drawings and documents. That work is proceeding accordingly. The Belgian block curbing has been placed. The concrete was poured today. The roadway just needs to be restored, and then that project would be closed out. The next item on the list is the West Magnolia Avenue Bridge, which is, again, the county and DOT inspection project. We've just included that item as a reminder as it related to reminding the fire department, the public works department, and the hauler of trash that that bridge has a weight limit with respect to crossing it at this time. The sixth item on the list is the Maywood Avenue train station. In our correspondence with DOT, we determined that there is an outstanding $60,000 in funding that the borough could reacquire as it related to work that had previously occurred on the train station by volunteers. Ms. Stern had provided us some documents so that we could prepare a package and forward that to DOT, and hopefully the borough could recoup some of that funding back into its budget as it relates to that project and the volunteer work that had previously occurred. An item that isn't on the list, we're proceeding with the Maywood Avenue Streetscape Phase 2 DOT grant. We'll be forwarding endorsing resolutions for the governing body to consider at its next governing body meeting, which is required as part of the package to be filed to DOT. That concludes our report. I'd be glad to address any questions or comments, though.
The next step, Phase 2 of the streetscapes, that's now the pavers, I guess?
Correct. That would be
Sidewalks?
that would be the sidewalks and pavers on the south side, beginning at the train tracks and working your way toward East Hunter.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Greg, on the corner of Jersey and Woodland, I guess, I'm not sure if it was the same company that did Jersey, but they replaced sidewalks there. Is it a drainage issue?
Well, there was an issue that, for some reason, they decided, and we met with the borough attorney related to it, they didn't construct the ramps per our plans, and there was a drainage issue that was occurring based on their constructing the ramps in non-compliant ramps. So, we met with the borough attorney and the contractor, had informed the contractor that they needed to construct prior construction documents. They're now doing so accordingly and following our drawings.
But they poured this concrete a few years ago, right?
Correct, and now what they did is they removed the concrete ramp and they poured it today, and then they have to address the roadway, because the roadway, for some reason they decided they were going to excavate a section of the roadway out to get the ramp in. That was not...
Are we talking about the same thing? Talking about the corner of Jersey and Washington?
Oh, Jersey and Woodland I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, I apologize. Yeah. Okay.
Jersey and Washington. So, the tape up on that corner.
I think the tape has been placed up by the homeowner. That wasn't placed by the contractor, yeah.
And he's thinking that it was us that did it, and he's not taking it down because he's thinking that he shouldn't take it down.
Okay, if the contract, let me do some researching, because when I drove by tonight, I looked at it and I thought the homeowner had placed it there, but if it's the contractor, then it should be removed immediately, and we'll direct the contractor to remove it immediately. Yeah.
I can certainly do it. I just didn't know whether there was anything.
No, there was no reason. I just thought that the homeowner had placed it up.
No, maybe you should get that.
Yeah, I will do that.
Someone's going to take those horses, I assume.
Well, on Woodland, the horses will be removed. On Washington, there's a tape around the tree that I'm not sure why that's there. I'll direct the contractor to remove that. And the horses will be removed once the roadway is restored.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do, Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
Waniak. PSC&G.
Sure.
Was there any update with that 69 kV project?
There was a meeting that occurred last month with Ms. Stern, myself, and PSE&G, and they were going to be forwarding final plans and documents and discuss beginning construction in the spring of 2017 with respect to the 69 kV project. So they had an informal meeting that occurred, and they were developing the final plan work at that time.
How does that relate to infrastructure improvements in the area? I've noticed in the last few months that people have taken to social media to complain about power outages that are caused in different towns but are affecting residents in Maywood, and they're calling the police, they're doing different things, and it's related to either that substation in Paramus or somewhere else. So is this going to alleviate any of these problems that are occurring?
Yeah, I've been told that the 69 kV project is going to provide more than a series of redundancies with respect to the power grid within the borough of Maywood, so that if, say, Paramus goes down, there would be the ability to connect to other power plants within the area, or transfer stations, so that Maywood doesn't lose power should one go down at a point in time during a storm event.
Perhaps in your next discussion with the ask about the northwest portion of the town, the Briarcliff Avenue area. I've noticed that section has lost power, I think, twice in the last couple of months, and it's been reported to be transformer issues somewhere across the border in Paramus, perhaps in that new substation that they've just built in the Coles parking lot where Panera Bread is and everything like that.
Sure.
Ask them if perhaps that issue will be rectified by the new 69 kV lines being put in, or whatever the case is.
Rick, I was on Route 4 the other day, right by the Parkway South entrance, and there's some
very extensive poles that are going to get constructed.
Are those the poles that we're looking at?
That one is not the pole that you'd be looking at. That pole is fairly extensive. The one that I noticed that driving today. Actually, I couldn't believe what that pole looked like. No, it would be very similar actually. For some reason, they had built already one pole on Maywood Avenue. I think when one was damaged potentially during an accident, that is the pole that you would see installed up and down Maywood Avenue. I would get nervous too.
Any other questions?
One quick question.
Sure.
On this ramp project, some of the work that's being redone, to be corrected, whatever, are they taking the necessary precautions with the concrete, with the weather changing?
Yeah, that's something that we're concerned about also. They did place tarps over it so that it would be protected from the cold. We're concerned also as it relates to it, and there is always a 2-year maintenance bond with respect to it. So if there's any poor workmanship related to it, we'll go after the bond to protect the borough.
Fred, speaking of PSE&G, we are having a problem with our islands, the islands on West Pleasant. The other day, one island was completely out from post office to Maywood Inn. Gene and I today spoke with PSE&G on a conference call. They indicated that we should have had, or it was their impression that we should have had underground wiring as opposed to what we have right now. I guess when the streetscapes were put in, the opportunity to put underground wiring was there, and it wasn't addressed at that point. Just ballpark, what do you think something like that costs?
At that point in time, or at this point in time, that would be a 6-figure number to do something like that.
Putting the utilities underground.
Correct.
And that would probably would alleviate the problem that we're seeing right now with the power outages.
Exactly. You'd have to. What would occur is by locating underground, there wouldn't be any wind disturbances or anything that could potentially trigger any of the outages that you're seeing.
One of the big things we have is whenever a box truck drives past there, it hooks onto the holiday lights and
down.
And the other problem, obviously, is with people walking across the islands, they step on the connections, but that's an enforcement issue. But everything else just seems to be would have been rectified by having that. But it is a 6-figure.
Yeah, it is. But let me take a second look at it. I can get you an accurate price though, so that you as a governing body understand the exact cost of it.
Are there any grants available for that you know of? Even partial grants?
If it was related to any road improvement with respect to West Pleasant Avenue, we potentially could look for DOT money related to that. And maybe it's repaving or restoring some of the crosswalks in the area that we could look to utilize some discretionary aid and file a grant for that.
Would redoing the islands in some manner?
That too.
So if we were somehow come up with some kind of plan.
Exactly.
Maybe within that plan of redoing the islands would be so where people aren't able to cross.
We raise them.
somehow where they can't cross through either. Is there,
And that would also be part of potentially a Safe Streets project. We could look at a different source of funding within DOT, too.
I know it's a joke, but I mean,
Yeah, no.
seriously, maybe having a little higher off the ground.
I
Is that
agree.
something that we can...
I agree, yeah, we definitely could look
And
into
then at
that.
that point, we might be able to go get some kind of grant money to go underground for utilities. Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I'd also suggest that perhaps they want to look to put LED lights on Pleasant Avenue, if at all possible. I mean, it would, in the long run, it would save them, the utility, because the lights would last longer than what's there now, so they wouldn't have to change the bulbs so often. And it would also save energy.
okay.
Yeah, we'd be glad to broach that with the PSC&G, too.
I think the last thing I have, Greg, is just briefly, will we be putting signage up by the bridge?
Yes, you would need to put signage up by the bridge, correct.
Okay. And who does that? Does our DPW?
DPW, I would recommend doing that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions?
Okay, just, you had mentioned that there's a limit, a load limit on the bridge. I'm sure that's like a built-in safety factor. Is it unthinkable that if the fire engine had to go across, that it would be that dangerous? Or a DPW truck or something? Obviously, we'd avoid it, but...
I'll be honest, we haven't done a structural analysis of it because the county had paid for it and the state had paid for it, and based on the recommendations in the report, they recommended that a 3-ton limit be placed on it. In looking at it in the field, it doesn't appear that there's going to be a catastrophic failure occurring immediately, but that's not to say that after a trip or two you couldn't run into an issue.
Yeah, I was just curious, like, how bad is it? I'm sure that if they have a concern, we have a concern, but just how far along is that?
Kids come in from Brook? I heard this all over there.
Well, I visited the site with Ms. Stern. We've looked at, the borough does have a paper street in that area where Brook does, actually, I apologize, West Magnolia extends toward Brook, where there may be potential, and we would have to do some surveying work to establish exactly where the right-of-ways are. Instead of replacing the bridge due to the weight issue, constructing a small roadway off of Brook to service those two houses, and then you could save a substantial amount of money instead of replacing a new bridge, construct almost a small driveway or roadway.
Who did you discuss that with?
I met at the site with Ms. Stern. When we first received that report, we had forwarded it to her.
It could be one of our options.
It's one of the potential options instead of addressing it, and we've cleared it also with the state engineer, that if the town chose to abandon the bridge, would they be able to? And they said you'd be more than welcome to
Now, by
abandon it.
abandoning, let's say we do that, we do create that driveway, as you call it. By abandoning the bridge, I mean, you have to take it down, or...
No, you would leave it, you just have to construct guide rails on both sides of it so that someone wouldn't drive across it.
Okay. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. No, I think the borough would see substantial cost savings as it relates to the project.
How long does something like that take to get done, once you get approval?
Once you get approval, the construction time frame might be a month and a half. It's something that can move very quickly.
Okay.
So-
Looking at the spring, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's much better option.
Yeah, I think so too, if the borough would like to explore that option.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think absolutely, yeah. Okay. All right,
The county itself has no...
No, the county and the state has no issue with respect to it.
But they have no issue, they have no plans on fixing the bridge?
No, they don't. It's a municipally owned bridge, so they've developed a program where they go through all 500 and change municipalities throughout the state of New Jersey and inspect all of the bridges, and then they hit each of the individual municipalities with these reports and expect action with respect to them.
and that action that you just mentioned is...
It's one of the actions that the borough could take.
Okay, and then the state has no problem with that?
None whatsoever.
Good, okay. Thank you, Greg, I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You too. You too.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
All right, this is the favorite part. I bet that's would you please come up? I think you bring with you good tidings.
Oh, yes, I bring very good things.
I
I have often said that I have the best jobs in town, and this is one of them. Lydecker Manor, which is our senior citizens' home, and has been in existence for at least 35 years now, comes in under the federal guidelines of HUD, and because of that, they do not pay taxes. Howsoever, because of HUD, it gives me, as your president, great honor to present you, the mayor and council, with a check for $132,723. Don't spend it all in one place.
I have one request. Next time you come in one of those big china checks,
One, two, three,
all right, I'll just-
four. Divided by.
Thank you very much, Ben.
The check is in Gene's hands. We're getting to it right now.
One second, that's fine.
Just if I may, a big thank you to all the people in town, both volunteers and employees who have responded to the calls of help or whatever at Lydecker. It's an interesting place, and we have all sorts of things going on, but the cooperation with the town and the emergency services and the paid services to come and help and so forth and so on is very greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, while we have Eddie here, can we go out of order a little bit and ask Eddie to just give us an update on the whole thing?
I think we absolutely can. Anybody have a problem with that?
No.
Motion go out of regular order of business?
No, I think
No?
she's here, she's in the presentation, she can continue on with that.
Okay.
Jean has spoken, so let it be read. So let it be done.
Now?
Yes, there you go.
Now you're the town historian.
Yes, now I'm the town historian, the one and only. The Maywood Historical Advisory Committee is very happy to announce that the second Hall of Fame for Maywood will be on January 15, 2017, at 2 o'clock at the Senior Recreation Center. And we have, I think it's 7 people to be inducted. The names have not been released yet, but they will be soon. And we have, I think, a good cross-section of people who represent different facets of Maywood history. Not all of the honorees are living, nor were they last time we did it. And it's just, I find, of course, great joy in this and the history of it and how people have contributed to help make our town what it is today. These are people who normally are plodding along doing what they might consider as routine things day by day, but when you take it and you look at a lifetime of dedication and everything, they're not routine. There's a great commitment that they have made for whatever their particular category would be. One of the problems as such, and it's always been both times, it was a fun thing, was trying to find categories for some of the people that have been nominated or suggested for this honor. And the response from the people who have been asked has been overwhelming, and the families of those who are no longer living have been overwhelming, so that they're not forgotten. And we look forward to it, and you are all invited, as is everybody here tonight, and we look forward to a good time.
Betty, these were submitted, the names were submitted by the residents this year, huh?
This time the names were submitted by the residents. The first time we did it, the committee, the historical committee, decided they'd sum up with the list and make the categories. And the situation was that we had no guidelines, so we weren't too sure what we were doing. Now, that could play both ways, because we didn't know what we were doing, we could do what we wanted to. This year was a little bit different. We had to come up with some categories and everything, but we asked the public because, and we had a pretty decent response from the public on that. Some people just put a name on a paper, and you were supposed to figure out, if you didn't know who they were, what they had done, and all that sort of stuff. But most people cooperated, or we had enough lead information that we could get in touch with family or friends or people that they had worked with in town. So it's a little bit different. Now, what we're riding on the crest of last year's, this past January's program, because the response in the fall was
Oh,
absolutely
it's wonderful, wonderful.
and we said, well, as long as it's going, we'll do it again this 2017. Whether it happens 2018 or not will not be decided until we get the 17 under our belt and see what the response was and everything. We don't want to run it to the ground. We don't want to make it so that one category is overwhelming and overshadows all the other people in town that do things. So, great fun.
I happen to know the names, and this is one of the, and I know Frank does, this is one of the hardest secrets I've had to keep.
When did they get released? When did they get released, the names?
As soon as the paper I think they should have gone out to the paper this week, so.
Thursday?
Hopefully. Thursday paper coverage in our area is not what it used to be, so hopefully it'll be in the papers, both of them.
Wednesday night, crowds.
I'm sorry?
Wednesday night, you can get a jump on it.
Yeah, get a jump on it.
Well, do you want to break some news here? You could do, you could break the news.
Breaking news.
So wait,
Keep it in the paper.
Just keep it in this room.
Yeah.
And we can go on now.
And if you're- Go ahead.
No, I would love to, but I advise everybody else not to, so.
That's fine.
You're the historian, you're the one who makes the rules. Come on.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to break the rules.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all
no.
right.
Give us a hint.
We're 7 to 7.
That's the whole hint you're getting.
There you go.
Is there anybody in this room?
January, come on in, you're all invited.
It's John Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, great fun.
And that's at 2, correct?
Yes,
2 p.m.?
2 p.m.
And we look forward to baked goods as well.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
oh, yes.
Oh.
Yes, thank you.
Well, Benny, what do we have coming up on December 29th?
29, we're doing a holiday or Christmas light bus tour around town, and we have people signing up for 2 bus tours. One is at 4:30, and I was told the other one was at 6, but I was telling people the wrong time, but that's all right, I'll be there. So, and the town supplies the bus, and unfortunately, they have to listen to me again, but I'm the tour director.
Oh, that's the best part.
And we've had such great fun. In fact, it was the first time we did it, some little kids were on, maybe they were 8 or 9 at that point, and they said, gee whiz, you can go past our house and we decorated. And the grandparents said, yeah, they did it themselves. I said, okay, let me know next year if you do it. And they were thrilled to death because we went, did a little jog, so that and the grandparents, I was with a couple, I guess 2 weeks ago, and they're as excited this year as they were last year, so she called and she made reservations for 8 people, so that group, so we got some others coming in. But if you want to go on the bus tour, call Carol Dash, because she keeps the running track so that if, heavens forbid, we have a blizzard or whatever, that we can call people and cancel and things like that. But it's a great thing, and we have, we use the hall, and we thank you for that, because it's, the facilities are good. The parking down there is excellent for what we need, and it's easy in, easy out. And what we do is we go down and set up a little bit of a historical exhibit with some of our artifacts. Our list is growing and growing. We need to be able to start showing and showing.
Yes.
And the response from people on these things is just amazing.
My favorite story that you told me was the person that complained that we didn't go earlier in the day. You had to explain to them, because then you can't see the lights.
I don't know why you wait till 4:30. You should go at 2. You can see Christmas like this. Another story that goes along with that is I've had a number of people that want to go on the later one because it's darker and you can see the lights better. This also includes, and don't misinterpret this, this is a matter of fact. I have a very dear friend who is blind and wants to go on the later tour because you can see the lights better. I said, yes, of course.
Better contrast.
Okay, whatever, so we look forward to seeing you there too.
Are you serving baked goods at that evening also?
Yes, I heard they were available.
Okay, yes. Yes, I'll make a note.
Betty, listen, anytime you have a $100,000 check, you feel free to come here, anytime.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, I'll have a special meeting for you just for that.
Okay.
You can do it monthly if you want.
You're good.
Yes, we would.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I almost didn't come with it tonight. I got out, I said, whoops. You ain't leaving. You know, easy come, easy go.
All right, open to the public. Is there anyone from the public wishing to be heard tonight? Please, come on up.
Can I come back?
Absolutely. You got a check?
I have a question on the check. Credit card, I have another check. I'm having trouble in my head placing a bridge on West Magnolia Avenue, as was reported.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
Please.
Right by the 160s all the way down.
It's right before the last two houses, as you get, it's a very small bridge, it's two corrugated metal pipes that are over the brook toward the back there.
I'll do a field trip tomorrow.
The westerly brook down there.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't have the tour bus go over.
Don't go there with the tour bus.
Be careful when you take the bus.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to be heard? Seeing no one, closing into the public. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion for the approval of the November 19th, 2016 special meeting minutes and the November 22nd, 2016 council meeting minutes and 2 closed session minutes?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Didier?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Cinderell?
Yes.
All right. Correspondence and report of the Borough Clerk.
Okay, we have a couple things you received in your mailboxes for next meeting as our engineer, Cliniak, the construction management for the pump station. If we can place that resolution along with the physio control, which is for the defibrillators. They do a 1-year contract for the first aid squad. If we can place those, I have the information, if we can place those resolutions on next meeting's agenda.
Okay. So what do they do exactly for the,
They service them.
they service them? They also service ones in the building?
No, just the first aid.
Just,
Yeah.
okay. All right, yeah, put that on.
Also, the recycling calendar for 2017 has been sent to the printer, so we're hoping they're all mailed out and residents receive them prior to the first of the year. And I want to wish everybody a happy, healthy holiday season, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Roberta's not here, unless, no, she's not here. For the Borough Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I have a report to give in connection with the PBA negotiations in closed session.
Is that something that we can do?
We can do it right now if you'd like. Should not be too lengthy.
Okay. Yeah, is there a motion? I'd like to go into closed session at this point for that purpose. Is there a motion?
Motion to go into closed session now.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is everyone in favor of that?
Aye.
This will not be too long, we're going to close very briefly. And we will be back. Yes.
Would you like me to
No,
sign?
that's fine. I'm sorry, I should
No, no,
have
no.
spoke, but thank you for sticking around.
Thank you.
Be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood, pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, Mayor and Council meet in closed session to discuss the following subject matter: PBA agreement negotiations. Be it further resolved that it's precisely determined that the time of the discussion conducted in said closed session can be disclosed to the public upon taking final action thereon, provided disclosure will not violate attorney-client privilege or constitute undue invasion of privacy. Be it further resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood will return to open session after this meeting.
John, make sure that the officer doesn't come listen by our door, okay?
It's a security.
We got it? Go. All right, before we go, we are out of the regular order of business. Before we go back into the regular order of business, we have the chief here, Chief Scott Fowler and former Chief Fajan. They are here. We have an ordinance on tonight for the purchase of a fire truck along with some SCBA equipment. So with that, perhaps you two gentlemen would like to come up and, you don't have to give the whole presentation, but if you can give just an outline, I'd appreciate it.
Need my address? Thank you. Smarty. All right. Truck 17, as you know, is getting up in age. We formed a truck replacement committee. The truck committee consisted of myself, ex-chief agent, the captain, the lieutenant, and Danny Mulvaney. And just to go over a few things, despite regularly completed annual preventive maintenance, there have been approximately $65,000 in repairs required to be completed on Truck 17 over the past few years. LTI, Simon Duplex, and American LaFrance are no longer in business, and parts availability has been an issue. And the truck has been out of service for extended durations. The truck committee, we searched numerous manufacturers, and our committee consisted of Maywood residents, tax-paying residents, and we had the best interest in mind, and the fire departments. And basically, for the new apparatus, we were trying to get a smaller footprint in length, height, that would better suit our community. And I can't tell you how much work we put into finding a manufacturer and size and type that would be best for the borough. And after numerous visits to neighboring firehouses, we determined that the Pierce straight stick ladder would be best suit our needs as well as the community.
Very briefly, straight stick, you and I know what that means, and I think
We won't have a bucket anymore. You know, it will be a change in operations procedurally, but it's nothing we can't work around.
So basically you downsize the truck a little bit.
The footprint, the height, and even with the outrigger deployment, it'll be a lot less footprint-wise from what we currently have. So, we did extensive research, and as far as the HGAC, Houston Galveston Cooperative, I think it would be a good opportunity for the borough to make the purchase, and also with the incentives as far as prepayments, I think we'll be able to save a lot of money and further reduce the price.
Is there a savings by doing it by the end of the year? Is there a percentage?
There'll be a price increase estimated
February
1st.
January 31st. After that, the price will go up.
3%.
Right.
And the Houston Galveston Cooperative, that was something that the gentleman may remember, that's something we entered a few months back. And not only can you buy fire, you can also buy police vehicles and other apparatus, you buy stuff for them, right? You can buy these vehicles, everything.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
Chief, what was the life expectancy of 17?
Currently, or?
Current. I mean, no, what was it?
The average,
was it, say, 20 years?
It's 20 years, and we're on a
20 years
life cycle right now.
Who sets that?
NFPA sets the standard, and we follow the standard of NFPA. Additionally, we're running into costs in repairing this one, plus the fact that the parts availability are becoming a problem.
A lot of the issues we experienced would have been covered by warranties under new contract,
Okay.
as far as on the ladder, like things experienced.
Yeah, warranty work on the new apparatus is much better than in the previous years that we've bought apparatus. So going forward, we should see an increase in our annual maintenance of apparatus budget.
Okay. So now, you got a grant for the self-contained breathing apparatus of about $190,000, almost $200,000.
Right.
And that would make it basically two-thirds of our requirements, and in the bond is the other third of the finishing up. So could you give us a little bit of a
Right, no problem.
rundown of the SCBA?
In 1990, the Scott air packs were originally purchased. In 2004, the air packs were extensively overhauled and new 30-minute cylinders were purchased. In 2015, the SCBA cylinders were last hydro-tested, and all SCBA cylinders, this is just the cylinders, not the packs, will be required to be replaced. There's only a 15-year life on those. So regardless of what we do, that's always going to be an issue. Old NFPA standards required low air alarm to sound at 25% of the cylinder's available air was left. The new NFPA standards at 33%. On the low air, it'll go off. And to compensate this, we're proposing to get 45-minute bottles in lieu of the 30-minute. So we have more working time. The new Scott air packs will be equipped with improved face pieces. The new specifications address concerns associated with radiant heat, which weren't addressed in the old masks. There'll be improved voice intelligibility. There's also various other things. I'll be more than happy to provide you at a later date. But again, just as with the truck, a large amount of maintenance has been cost-wise expended for the SCBAs. The new Scott air packs come with a 10-year warranty, which will significantly reduce the maintenance costs of the fire department and their budget. And just so everybody's aware, could the old packs be overhauled? And the answer is yes, but with the grant money, you can't do that. And again, even if we were permitted to overhaul, upgrade the existing Scott air packs, using the FEMA AFG funds, warranty would only be for approximately 5 years. The grants received, like you said, was $190,000. The total cost of replacing the existing Scott air packs and associated equipment, that's cylinders and face pieces, will be approximately $313,000. Cost including trade-in value for the existing Scott packs and cylinders, that's complete for everything. And including the grant money, this will require approximately $124,000. And logistically, we would like to complete everything at one time, just because there's actually going to be annual maintenance required on these. They have to be flow tested annually. The SCBA cylinders all have to be hydro tested every 5 years. So logistically, to keep everything simplistic and minimize record keeping, it would be best to have everything replaced at one time. So that's what we're proposing. And again, it'll reduce, it's been a big part of the department budget, has been for SCBA maintenance.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Mr. Mayor? Sure. For those viewing at home, perhaps just a quick, brief discussion of what the NFPA is and how they have jurisdiction over what the fire department does and where you have to, spend your time and your money and stuff like that.
NFPA is the National Fire Protection Association. They're the ones who set the guidelines for fire departments across the state, across the country rather. They set, minimum standards or above, and we have to comply. Manufacturers have to comply. Same thing where they now set a standard where you have to have a life expectancy on turnout gear. So every 10 years we have to cycle out our gear and buy new. Even Scott packs, if it's not
within the time frame, they won't service it, it won't be repaired, and they kick it back. Same thing with, it's a standard that's set, and we just have to comply with it.
Now, it's not a question. What happens if you just say, you know, too bad?
Just as long as you sign the paper, I guess
And then,
it's your problem.
what happens with insurance at that point?
You'll probably have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, again, even if we were to keep these packs, I can only see the maintenance costs going through the roof over the next couple of years. And we will have to replace the cylinders at a minimum. And for the 45 minutes, approximately $1,200 a bottle, and it's still a pretty good chunk of money, so.
And just to flash back a little bit, the grant that we were able to get some of the money for, it took us almost 5 years to get what we got. So in Maywood's eyes, I think that was a very good thing. We don't get many grants. This is the biggest one we've gotten. So it just took a lot longer to get to where we need to be.
Well, thanks to the grant writer, and thanks to you, and thanks to you, Chief, thanks to you, Chief Tuttle, and anybody else that worked on that. It was all hands on deck, and you guys did a great job. And just for the record, incoming Chief Tuttle's in the audience as well. I was just making a joke. I know the NFPA is there for our safety, so I was just making a joke. I would never skirt the requirements there. Well, does anybody have any other questions or any other?
If I can just comment, if I may, quickly, that
Please.
the committee worked very, very hard for well over a year. And I can honestly say, having worked with them to some small degree, that they went down 10% just this year, or they got the manufacturer down 10% between their design requirements and working with the manufacturer. They worked very hard, not only getting the proper equipment, but getting it at the best possible price. So they worked very hard, and I appreciate their efforts.
And as did you, and I appreciate your efforts. This whole on behalf of the council, you brought us all the info. I mean, obviously, I have some information, but you have had all the information. You were at every meeting and that they asked you to be at, and you brought all that information to us in a timely fashion, and you had your own input on that, which enabled us to make a decision. So I want to thank you very much.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And while we have you here, this council, on behalf of the mayor and council, we want to thank you for your service. I know you're about to go out, and we couldn't have had a better 2 years, so thank you very much. You did a great job, and we are looking forward to the incoming chief, Chief Tuttle. You have some big shoes to fill, and as did you with replacing Chief Newman, and that's, I guess, the goal of everybody who is in a leadership role, to do a slightly better job than the guy before you, and to leave where you are in a better place, and so as when you hand it off. And I think you have done that. Chief Newman accomplished that, and so have you. So, thank you.
Thank you, and I thank the mayor and council for the support throughout the past couple of years, and you'll be in good hands with Chief Tuttle.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, let's take a motion to go back to the regular order of business. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Motion to go back to regular business?
Second.
All right. Regular committee reports. Councilman Padavano. I said Councilwoman.
Oh, I think so.
Go check the tape.
Rewind.
go with the video tape.
I just have that the rabies clinic is on January 18th at the Maywood Senior Recreation Center. And as always, Dr. Buchholz will be giving out the rabies vaccine. And also you could get your dog park licenses that evening too. That's all I have. I'm sorry.
And regular license.
Oh, and regular dog licenses too. Sorry, or regular pet licenses.
Correct.
And that's it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Well, we'll be here before then.
Yes.
And Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Trevino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, to the EMT, Maywood EMTs sent out a mailer last week to all residents looking for volunteers on the ambulance squad. So if anyone
would like to contribute some time to volunteering for the EMTs, it would be greatly appreciated in town. They do a great job. The Municipal Alliance, Mr. Timmons is purchasing more equipment with funds from the Municipal Alliance grant that will be used for school activity events. The next madcap is scheduled for Friday, January 13th, and that madcap will be a dance and also an activity night, since they'll have use of the large gym rather than the small gym. They usually just have a dance. And they're also scheduling a few other after-school activity days throughout the year that they'll be using the equipment that's bought through the Municipal Alliance grant, and possibly have DJs and other entertainment for the children. And also for the Municipal Alliance, you haven't seen them around town already. The visual aid for everyone is the black and green stigma-free signs that have been placed around town. Many people might not know what these signs are for, or what stigma-free means. It started approximately a year ago. The borough passed a resolution supporting the stigma-free zone program. The resolution and the signs that have been displayed around town are the first step in raising awareness about mental illness and the stigmas that are associated with it. Mental illness encompasses a variety of disorders ranging from depression and anxiety to substance and alcohol use disorder and bipolar disorder. 1 in 4 adults experience a diagnosable mental disorder in any given year. That's approximately 61.5 million Americans. Stigma is an identifying mark or characteristic resulting from judgment of others. The stigma is the primary reason more than half of the people that are diagnosed with mental illness go untreated. Our goal of being a stigma-free zone is to provide education and resources to reduce the stigma, allowing those affected with the disease to seek treatment and begin the recovery process. So several members of the Municipal Alliance, along with the Maywood Police Department, have taken mental health first aid course, which gives them certifies them as health first aiders. And going in the future, we'll continue to raise awareness and look to provide more information and resources and training to the residents of Maywood. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if we don't see you.
Thank you, Mr. Janito. Councilman Nahat.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you referenced when we had the chief here, earlier this month we had our monthly fire board meeting, and Chris Tuttle was voted for becoming the new chief, John McManus, the assistant chief, and Matt Reiner, the deputy chief. So congratulations to all of them, and also want to thank Chief Costas for his great work and all the work he's done the past 2 years as chief. Other than that, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Mr. Nahat. Councilman Matson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I want to piggyback on what Councilperson Gervino was saying about the Municipal Alliance. They do a fantastic job. That group, I attended the meetings along with Councilperson Padavano, Councilperson Gervino, myself, members of the Recreation Department, members representing the school PTOs, also Vice Principal Timmons, the madcap coordinator. We have volunteers at large. We also have a social worker that's there that also advises us on the stigma-free program. They've done some excellent work, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to produce in 2017 for the Municipal Alliance. Quickly, let's talk about the season. A couple of seasonal things that are going on. First off, we touched on power outages before. Just want to remind everybody that if there's a power outage, please contact PSE&G. Do not contact the borough or 911 unless it's a true emergency. Please have no control over the power. That has to be done either through the website or through a hotline through PSE&G. There's potential winter weather coming. Just a reminder, there's no parking on the street. The street is covered in snow. Hopefully that won't happen in the next few weeks, but there's a potential. Packages on people's porches. We need to be aware that sometimes they disappear if they're left out there too long, especially if you're getting deliveries from Amazon. Unfortunately, some of us perhaps witnessed a potential issue where someone was stealing packages off of somebody's porch. So please be aware. If you're out there, you're driving, walking your dog, whatever, you see packages, they usually go from the street to the house, not usually the other way. So if you see something, please say something on that. This is unfortunately the time of year where package theft increases. And speaking of packages and toys, I have a few here that have been traveling around with me the last couple of days. They're going to be winding up downstairs in the toy bin, the toy drive that the PDA, the police are doing. So if you have any new unwrapped toys that you'd like to donate, the bin is still not full yet downstairs. Perhaps you want to make a deposit. That's it. Just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Lesser. Councilman Maroney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Benedetti Festa stole a lot of my thunder tonight, but...
You walked right into it.
I really did, and I was happy that you did it. I want to remind Mr. Messar that the dog licenses have to be renewed, so I just know that you're usually a little late on that.
It's tradition.
I don't have anything of a council nature. I just want to thank Councilwoman for our jail. Wish everyone a healthy and happy holiday and pleasant New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Maroney. Council President Lindenau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Frank, the DPW is ready for snow. They were out actually this past weekend when we had that little dusting. They got to take the trucks out, put some salt down on the main roads and on the trouble spots. They are ready to go. Equipment's been maintenance checked, and plenty of salt in-house right now, so anything that comes our way, Gary said they're ready to go. So it shouldn't be a problem. 14,000 leaf bags were handed out this past year, so that has wound down the leaf collection. Most of the tree work is done. They'll get out into any emergency areas, but for now, they're going to be focusing now on the winter and the weather that's going to be coming. Green Team has been made bronze sustainable jersey approved, which is a good thing.
Borough of Maywood received.
Well, the borough, but the Green Team was the driving force on getting us sustainable New Jersey. A lot of hours went into getting that, and now it's going to open us up for certain grants and stuff, being certified. So, let me put that out there. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lindenau. Just with regard to that, I was going to make a statement at the next meeting for the NJ Sustainable. I wanted to thank the people that were involved that spearheaded it, and that was Tara Grunstra, Roberta Stern, the grant writer Ellen Stein, and Team Collector. Anytime anybody needed a document emailed to them or sent to them, they went to Jean. The stuff that went through her office, voluminous. She was the go-to person on this, so we could not have gotten it without Jean's help. This is going to open us up to a bunch of grant opportunities, and when Greg and I, former Mayor Paravano and I first got here, one of the things we wanted to do was this. One of the very first things we did was drive around town and look for a good place to put the community garden. And one of the second things we did was try to get this and just go forward and look for other things to get this. And it's next to impossible. So I'm so overjoyed that we actually did get this. And I want to thank everybody involved. And the people on the Green Team, they were pushing us, get this. They were the driving force in that they wanted it. And the people that got it done were the people that I mentioned and Mrs. Pleasure. So I want to thank you very much, Jean.
She not only does that, but she watches everybody's tomatoes, too.
Yeah, she does. That's right. She lives right over there. And I remember
With her car door.
she made someone was stealing tomatoes and vegetables, and Jean made him put them back. they couldn't necessarily put them back on the vine, but she did make them not take them. Speaking of lights and the problems with the lights and all that, I would please ask everybody in town, do not cross over those islands. By doing so, not only are you messing with the shrubs there and impeding their growth, but you are stepping on the connections to the lights. Many times, that's some of the reasons why they go out. So if you can avoid doing that, then it's just a safety issue. It is not safe to be crossing through those islands. Cars are used to seeing people come on the crosswalks. If you jump through those things, there's a chance you're going to get hit. So it's not a good practice to do that. And speaking of the lights, I want to thank the light man himself, Mr. Billy Jelinski, because beautiful lights on the avenue that you see, that's from Billy. Billy spends hours and hours and hours of his own time to take care of that. And he does it every holiday. He did it for Halloween. He does it every holiday. This is his big time of the year, and I don't know that we can thank him enough, but I want to make sure that we personally thank him in public. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll be saying it again for the next meeting, but Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and have a safe and happy holiday. Okay, moving on. Appointment to approve of the following: Ryan Hollywood as a junior firefighter of the Maywood Fire Department effective December 13, 2016. Is there a motion for the appointment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Catalano.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Nessa.
Yes.
Maroni.
Yes.
Lindner.
Yes.
I see some playful ribbing in Mr. Hollywood's future as a firefighter. It's a great name. Council approval of the following: from Our Lady Queen of Peace Church, requesting permission for their annual bingo license and instant raffle license effective January 5th, 2017 to December 25th, 2017. From the Women's Club of Maywood, New Jersey, requesting permission to hold a tricky tray and on-premise 50/50 raffle at American Legion Post number, you okay?
I'm good.
Number 142, 135 East Passaic Street, Maywood, on Friday, February 10th, 2017, from 6 o'clock to 11 p.m. with a snow date of Saturday, February 11th, 2017, on Friday, or Friday, February 17th, 2017, from 6 to 11 p.m. Just real quick, Gene, that's 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., or is that 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.?
6 p.m.
6 p.m., thank you, I'm sorry. Number 3, approval for the 2017 towing license from All Points Towing, Belfies Towing, Rochelle Park Auto Body, and Rochelle Park Towing. Number 4, from the MYAA, requesting approval for fundraiser to paint house numbers on the curbs in front of residences. Is there a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Catalano.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
Yes.
Nessa.
Yes.
Maroni.
Yes.
Lindner.
Yes.
Okay, resolutions by title.
Resolution 17116, resolution authorizing a change order number 2 for Maywood Avenue Streetscapes Project and JTOT funded. Resolution 17216, authorizing membership and participation in the Cranford Police Cooperative Pricing System. Resolution 17316, a resolution ratifying and confirming the managed services of the Police Department radio dispatch desk for the Maywood Police Department with funds from the DEA account. Resolution 17416, capital budget amendment. Resolution 17516, a resolution designating bus stops in the Borough of Maywood, Borough County, New Jersey. Resolution 17616, a resolution designating bus stops in the Borough of Maywood, Borough County, New Jersey. Resolution 17716, a resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase of tactical equipment for the Maywood Police Department with funds from the DEA account.
Is there a motion for the adoption?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Wait a second.
Sure.
It's incorrect title, 177.
Okay. Purchase of the light, isn't it?
Yes, this is the LED display light. Title doesn't change.
Okay,
Correct that.
let's have a motion to, we'll amend that to,
With the, as amended, with the Resolution 177 as amended by title, the body of it is correct. Resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase of a LED display sign for the Borough of Maywood, using DEA account.
okay. With that change, amendment, is there a motion for the adoption?
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Are we good with that?
That's fine.
Okay. Roll call.
Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
DeTier?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
Okay, introduction of ordinances.
Ordinance 2316, an ordinance amending Chapter 154, Subchapter 6, Chapter 193, Subchapter 3, and Chapter 256, Subchapter 10, to require residents to bag leaves in compostable paper bags or in reusable containers without lid for collection by the Department of Public Works.
Is there a motion for the introduction?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
DeTier?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood that ordinance 2316 pass on first reading, and that said ordinance will be further considered for final passage at a meeting of the Mayor and Council to be held on December 27, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. at the Borough Hall, 15 Park Avenue, Maywood, New Jersey, at which time and place all persons interested therein will be given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, and the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law. Ordinance 2416, bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of a new aerial ladder fire truck, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the Borough of Maywood in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,065,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of issuance of such bonds.
Is there a motion for the introduction?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Padavano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
DeTier?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood that ordinance 2416 passed on first reading, and that said ordinance will be further considered for final passage at a meeting of the Mayor and Council to be held on December 27, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. Borough Hall, 15 Park Avenue, Maywood, New Jersey, at which time and place all persons interested therein will be given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. The Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law.
Okay, is there any new business? Do we have any old business? Or how about any miscellaneous business? Okay, we did our closed session, so at this time, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed, anybody want to stay longer? No? All right.
I'd just like to say that thank you to Gene for being on top of things.